Hello friends, my name's Christopher, this is my 5-day-old daughter Charlotte, and this vlog is to talk about how I built her crib and all the thoughts that went into it. Here we go. So, first off, if you came here from watching the actual build video, watch it again and watch my hair. You'll notice it start off really short and then get really long with a whole bunch of different outfit changes. I just thought that was kind of funny as I was splicing it all together because I did it over the course of a couple months. Some of the earliest footage was from April, and right now it's August, but this was done, I want to say, the very last week of July. Yes, it was done the very last week of July before Bridget got home from grad school. So that was fun. I'm happy that I got it done before she was born. Not that she needs it or anything now. She won't for a couple months. Oh yeah. She's sleeping in our room in like a pack and play and a bassinet and other stuff depending on what she's interested in. Or she's sleeping on us, like right now. So not at night. Anyways, let's talk about the crib. So, as you can see, it is painted and it is not painted. This style we ultimately chose because of the woodworking that's in here. Previous owners had painted the doors like white around the edges with the dark brown on the inside. So we carried that theme through with white and the natural wood. So the let's call it the cage, the actual bars here, that's made out of poplar. Painter's maple, as it's colloquially known, which I thought was kind of cool. It was very easy to manipulate, and it was easy to paint. So if you watch the video again, the build video, there's only like 4 seconds of me actually painting it, because I don't know. You do things over 3 months and you lose footage. What can I say? And I've only got a shot of me spray painting it too, which is not all that I did. I started with spray to get in between the cracks because I painted, or I glued and assembled it first. But then I came back with did some hand work and this and that to smooth it up and make it look really pretty. And of course, while I was painting it, I didn't paint the tops here. So the trim that's on the top, which is walnut, by the way, is actually glued on permanently. So as I was doing this originally, I was thinking I would do some like mortise and tenon kind of work, because for Christmas time, my mother actually bought a neat mortising attachment for my drill press. And then when I finally went to use it in April, I realized, oh, it's for a size up, not my 15-year-old entry-level drill press. So I still haven't used it yet. So my backup here was to make those pins, essentially. So at the end of all of these rods are triple doubles, which are then drilled into the boards, like the transverse pieces. So they're in there super tight. I'm not worried about them ever falling out. They're nice and safe and nice and tight and blah, blah, blah. It was a tedious work. I mean, don't get me wrong, making all those pins and then going at it with a chisel to round them over to fit into the holes that were drilled. But it was worth it. It was kind of fun, actually. After a while, it becomes this like cathartic, relaxing experience, chiseling away, knowing exactly like where you need to chisel to make that perfect rounded shape. And fitting it was fun too, and it was very rewarding when all of those like meticulous measurements line up and you don't have any sort of fitting errors. That's very cool. So let's talk about safety. It's like in the United States, the Consumer Product Safety Commission or something like that has an assortment of guidelines. Oh, my phone fell out. As I was saying, they have a bunch of regulations for cribs. So I paid attention to them all, and let me tell you about it. First off, it's a standard size mattress. So it's something like 27 and a half inches wide by like 51 and a half long, something like that. So I made my internal diameter, I believe, half an inch longer on all 4 sides. That fell within guidelines. So like she can't one day roll over and get caught in there, whatever the deal is. And it's easier to get the mattress in and out than too when you change pads. Oh, she is sleepy. She just ate. Yes. And got a fresh diaper. The slats in the cage, which is probably a terrible term for it, but the slats there, I made them 2 inches apart. The regulation states that they have to be no more than 2.5 inches. So I'm a half inch into the requirement, which is great. I think the deal was you shouldn't be able to fit a standard soda can through on the side, so I definitely can't. So her head isn't going to get stuck in there or anything like that. Another regulation that I had to pay attention to, I think it was from the top of the mattress, which can only be 6 inches thick, by the way. From the top of the mattress to the top of the crib, it needs to be at least 26 inches tall. So I added 2 inches to that. Actually, it might be like 2 or 3. From the top of the mattress to the top here, I think is 28 or 29 inches. Probably 29 once I added the trim because, math. You'll notice it's relatively low. That's another safety feature too. By keeping the mattress down, I'll have to bend more, and it'll kind of suck as she gets heavier, but it's also far less prone to tipping. Considering your center of mass is in the first, 5 inches from the ground up. So that's great. Another one of the safety features, they say, oh, she's just so cute. Another safety feature, some of these old cribs had like a breakaway thinger in the front, I think. That's not the case here. It's totally solid. But I built it to be convertible once she's, 2.5 or 3 or, whatever the age is when we take this off and this just becomes like her daybed then. So the front and the back are all screwed in. If you saw during the build video, I've got these buttons on the front to cover it up so you don't see any sort of fasteners. But when the time comes to convert this, I'll just pop off the buttons on the front, unscrew the screws holding it on, and then the 2 ends and the back will all remain because they're screwed into the base. And then by that time, she'll be bigger. And I think what I'm going to do is, I'll take the mattress out and then I'll probably build a small shelf underneath there, something maybe like 8 inches depth, something similar. Well, you can't see it in this frame, but over there is her dresser, probably a similar size with 2 different shelves on either end. So that will, 1, raise her up another 8-9 inches, and 2, give her some more storage space. So, hey, I'm having so much fun with her. Bridget and I both are. Safety. We talked about the bars. We talked about the height. We talked about the breakaway. We talked about the thickness of the mattress. We talked about the give around the border. We talked about the center of mass for tipping. Yeah, I think that was really all the things that I had to consider when I was taking safety into concern. When it comes to aesthetic, we already talked about that. We found a couple different inspirations on Pinterest, and they were all like $700, $650. And I thought, that's ridiculous. I think this whole thing, when all was said and done, I think the poplar cost around $100, and that's it for me. Because I had the walnut that was donated from a friend and fellow Rotarian of mine a little whiles back. I'll put a card up here. You can see some other projects that have been built with that wood, so I'm quite grateful. And yeah, actually, you know what? I think the paint probably cost more than I was expecting. That added another $50 or $60 just with paint and materials using a nice paint. And yes, of course, there's like no lead in the paint, and everything is safe for the baby once it cures, blah, 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 blah. My baby's not going to get lead poisoning sucking on the bars, which I'm sure she will inevitably do, nor will she get splinters. Yeah. I think that about does it. It was fun. I really enjoyed building a crib. This is the second crib that I've built. I built one for our godson about 4.5 years ago. And that lasted a good long time, and I'm sure this one will last a good long time as well. If I were to go back and do it again, so in case anybody's watching this and getting inspiration, the pin technique was fine, but it really would be so much easier if I could just straight up mortise and tenon it. I was thinking of cutting a channel, like on the tops and bottoms there, and then just straight up doing a mortise and tenon and sliding it in and then filling in the channel. But then after a while I thought that's kind of tacky. But you could do that. What else would I do differently? The walnut there, you can kind of make out on the far end over there by the mobile that the trim comes up on the end. I was using a slab of walnut that was, oh hey, 4/4-ish, and it had some warps in it, and I wanted to preserve the natural feeling of the just kind of wonky walnut. And it's cool, but yeah, if I were to do it again, maybe I would just run it through the planer a couple times and get rid of that. Oh, kind of like I got rid of my mic there. Okay, if you haven't clicked away by now, that's nice of you. I will leave you by saying this is it's wonderful to be a father. I absolutely love it with all my heart. This is the coolest thing. She's great. Brit is doing very well. It was an awesome delivery. She's Wonder Woman. And the crib is good. So I've got this kind of project gives me confidence to tackle bigger things. You know what I mean? Dressers and tables and that kind of stuff. So more to come. And yep, let me know what you might have done differently. Watch the other video. Thanks for watching this. Share it with your friends. Blah, 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 blah. And little Lottie here is so lucky because what you can't necessarily see in this video, I got a window right here, and guess where it looks? Right down into the garden. So she's got the best room. She's got stuff made by Daddy, and she gets to see the garden. So pretty cool, and I've been rambling for minutes. Have a wonderful day. Happy gardening, happy woodworking, and if you have babies, give them a kiss. Okay.